Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Michael, and today I want to talk about how to defeat self-doubt. And I think this topic is super applicable to me personally, especially for today, because when I got up, I felt so unprepared and extremely unmotivated. And I know this is a very common, human nature thing where sometimes you have your highs and your lows, and then, this captures me at a point where I was just at an extreme low. I just didn't want to do anything. I had no motivation, and I knew that if I didn't do anything, I would just be even farther down in that low scale of feeling unmotivated. So, some of the reasons why I felt unmotivated today is I just got up really late. I usually have a script written for my YouTube videos before I shoot a video. I have it ready at least a day in advance, all written down. So all I have to do is read it and then essentially just shoot the video and then go ahead, edit, post, and all of that. So I didn't have that prepared for this morning. And then I also knew that I needed to go for a run today because I'm trying to run at least once every single weekend. If the weather permits it, then I'll go ahead and do that. And today was a beautiful day, so I knew that if I didn't run, I would just feel unmotivated throughout the entire day and pretty much bad for not running at all. So as I was running though, I wrote down, I kind of had these ideas in my head, like how can I create some script? I literally had no idea what I should talk about today, and then I was like, man, I should make a video that will be helpful for me and really just jot down my ideas and how to defeat that self-doubt that we may experience at times. And hopefully this is helpful for you, as these are my ideas that I'm hoping will help me again in the future when I feel like I'm at this point where I don't really want to do anything. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into my ideas, which I have right in front of me on this laptop. So the first point that I want to share with you guys is that there's going to be days where you feel like you just don't want to do anything at all. And especially for me today, that was how I felt exactly. So what I had to do to overcome the huge challenge of today, especially, and just trying to strive and push myself ahead, was I literally just had to start. And I knew I had to start somewhere and just get it over with and progress. So for example, when I was going on that run today, I knew I did not want to run, and it felt so hard to just even think about running. I didn't even want to think about going outside and just running and in the sun and really just being out of breath from that workout. So what I had to do to get ready for the day is I just said, okay, let's break it down into just small steps. I know I want to work out, but I don't feel like it. So what can I do? So I was like, all right, I'm just going to play some music that I use off of my playlist for my workout. Just play it, just start listening to it and try to get into the mood. And I was like, all right, I think I feel semi-ready, but I'm not really feeling it, but I gotta keep going. So what did I do next? I was like, all right, I'm just gonna change into my workout clothes and then just be ready to go. And that's, one step closer to getting out of the door. And, I kind of just followed this mentality all the way until I hit the pavement outside and just started running. And, really from there, once you get out and you catalyst from the start position, taking off is easy. You can cruise. I didn't care about performance or how I was going to do. I just said, I just need to take one step foot right in front of the other. And then I did that for about 40 minutes and I got a good workout in. Also impressed with how far I went, and I wasn't like running at 100% peak performance because I wasn't feeling it initially from the start of the day, but I certainly impressed myself because I knew that I didn't have that inside of me internally and running that far and that hard. But just making that first step is really what I'm bringing home with you guys in this video. It's just, you just got to start. Don't worry about, where you are or what you think you're going to output in terms of quality or performance. Just start doing whatever it is that you're trying to work on, and you'll tweak it as you go, and you might even get into the mood a little bit more as you are doing that, that progress, making that progress in your journey. And you'll probably be surprised like how far you actually get. I took that first step outside and hit the pavement, and then it just kind of took off from there. I kept going for 40 minutes, which, I don't really like to run at all, so that was a challenge, but I just knew I had a little bit more energy inside of me, so I kept going, making laps around this park I was running at, and then came back home. So that's kind of one of the first things I wanted to share with you. The next thing I want to reference is I would recommend using adversity to fuel yourself. And I know sometimes for me personally, I just felt like, maybe I wasn't chosen for something, or maybe someone didn't think I was well qualified enough. And then I thought to myself, instantly, and this is a very, common human behavior. You might think, why me? Why wasn't I chosen? Why wasn't I good enough? And another common response to that is you might become depressed, or you might become anxious, have anxiety, and you just start to worry like, oh, maybe it wasn't meant to be, maybe I'm not that person that I'm trying to be, and so forth. So then you start to feel kind of defeated. And so what I recommend you do, and I try to do, and I see this in myself as well, is this: I use the adversity in my life to fuel me and propel me forward, in my career, in my personal life, in my aspirations for entrepreneurship. And I think that is probably something that we all need to work on and just continuously do, is take those challenges, and I would say that's like a specific thing to you that makes you unique. And so you can say, all right, like in high school I broke my wrist on in track. And so what happened was I actually was out from basically working out for quite a while because I couldn't put any weight on it, so I couldn't do any push-ups. And so while I waited to recover, and once I did recover, then I was like, all right, well, if someone else can perform to this specified level, I should be able to perform at least to that minimum. But really what happened for me personally is I kept pushing beyond that and says, well, I gotta be a good representative for other people out there that may have some type of broken bone or injury. They might easily want to give up, but I gotta set an example for them and for myself. So that's how I used that type of challenge, adversity, to push me forward in life. And I encourage you to do it as well in your own personal life. On top of that, while I was kind of down from recovering, I knew the whole entire time that I just couldn't stop, I couldn't stop in my life from working out. Like, working out to me represents who I am. You spend that time to reset. That's my reset button. I use it to get a lot of deep thoughts. Like even today when I was recording for this video, that's where I was thinking, what should my video be about? I don't know what to talk about. So it's a deep thought. When I'm working out, it helps me de-stress, helps me sleep better, helps me feel better, helps me ultimately just uplift me and become the best person I could possibly be. So whatever that that challenges that you have, use those difficulties to just essentially just persevere and propel forward in your life. All right, next point that I want to bring home with you is that you're going to have, probably these milestones if you haven't written them already. I encourage you to write. You got to have goals, in your life. You got to have things so that when you meet them, hopefully you're reaching fulfillment along the way as you progress through these personal milestones. And sometimes these milestones can be huge, and you might feel like it's very daunting and it's so challenging because, let's say, for example, you want to run a mile for 6-minute mile, but then you probably haven't been running that often, so you gotta break it down into these smaller steps. Maybe one day you run for 15 minutes without stopping, okay, and then you just do that for an entire week, and then maybe you'll say, oh, I should run 15 minutes without stopping and make it a faster pace. So same thing here, you just have to break it down into smaller baby steps, essentially just milestones, and take it one piece at a time. Eventually, as you progress, you'll be able to look back and you might be able to run that mile in 6 minutes. But to get there, and this is how professionals in fitness, athletics, they do it. They don't just become a professional from doing something immediately. It takes progression over time and consistent behavior. So just break it down into those smaller steps, and you'll find, you'll see over time that when you self-reflect, you'll say, wow, I've made such a huge difference in my life. I wouldn't know that those small impacts really did help. Another thing I want to help bring to you guys is that you got to just trust in the process. Sometimes it might be misleading, or you might think that you're not on the right path, but you just got to trust that, if you're steering in the right direction, maybe it's going to take a while to get, to a milestone that you might have. I think in the environment and world that we live today, we kind of want to have this instant gratification. Like, with the internet, you can buy something, you instantly feel happy because you're going to get that product pretty soon. Or you can just download, an ebook or, electronics. It's just so quick today. But a lot of goals that, you might have in your life, it might take a long time to actually get. And, you might lose the perseverance or that mindset to keep you on target and on point to reaching it. So I just want to remind you that it's going to take time. You got to trust the process, you got to believe in yourself, and ultimately you can't give up, even if it might take you a long time to get there. And just as a closing reminder for you guys in this video is that success is built over time. It's not something that's instantly going to happen. An example that I think a lot of us can relate to, let's say that perhaps you're maybe a little unhealthy or unfit. It's a good example because I consider it as a behavior. So like your behavior and your routine might be perhaps you don't take the time to exercise or work out or eat and make healthy decisions. So that's a behavior that you might not have, but you got to just repeat healthy behaviors, and over time you'll see that progress. You might become more fit, less chubby, you might feel good, you might be more confident. And so what I'm saying is that you can't just go from being unfit to being super fit immediately. It's going to take a long time, and there's ways to get there. You can make these shortcuts to get there, but that's not really going to change who you are as a person. You got to change your mindset, and you got to change your behaviors and your routines, and eventually that will become your actual lifestyle and a part of you. So I just recommend that when you make changes, you just continuously strive and just basically just track your progress, and you'll see over time that progress will probably motivate you again to fuel you and continuously reach those milestones. Anyways guys, so I really just wanted to make this video not only for myself but for you guys as well. If you may have experienced self-doubt, fatigue, tiredness, and you just kind of get lost, you don't know what you're doing. And so hopefully, those pointers and, thoughts I shared with you are helpful. If you have any other tips or tricks that you use in your personal life to help you propel forward, definitely, leave me a comment below. I'd be super curious. Something else that I also do is I might envision myself being in a different position, or I might look at someone else that might be inspiring. And I kind of think like, okay, how do I follow that or become someone similar to that person? And that's another quick trick for me to get me motivated. So anyways guys, I'm gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. Definitely leave me a thumbs up to let us know how we're doing in this channel, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care. Bye.